All right. You guys see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, it looks like we've got Rick and Julie with us. So, hi guys. um, I think, let's see. Yeah, that's it. So if I haven't met you in person, I'm Amanda Rollins. I'm the settlements analyst at the auditor's office. I know that we've definitely emailed back and forth, or at least talked on the phone. So nice to see you here. So tonight we're just going to go through, hey, now I see Rick. Hey. Um, but we're just going to go over this new Doclink solution that we have come up with. And like I said, it's pretty informal. We're just going to go through how to use it, what it is, and answer any questions that you guys might have. Um, Bev, did you want to say anything before we dive in here?
Sure. I'll introduce myself too, because I'm sure folks on the call externally don't know who I am. I am Bev Hoskinson. I am the Financial Systems Director for the County Auditor's Office. Budget Commission and settlements fall with underneath my business line. And we took a really hard look over the last year to see how we can gain some efficiencies, just not internally, but also hopefully for our external partners. And we negotiated a contract with Mapsys to provide us with a solution that hopefully will provide you with more efficiencies, more transparencies around the budget commission process. And then I will send out a survey at the end of today when we're finished to everybody that's been on both meeting invites. It's an informational survey. It's going to help us determine how we can move forward more effectively if we're meeting your needs. And then also, if there's something that you wish you want to see within the solution to make your lives easier while you're communicating with us, that would be most appreciated. So honest feedback is always the best. I also want to say that this is going to completely, when we get to our second enhancements, it's going to remove a lot of this dialogue that we're currently doing today between email. And when we're sending data like that across email, it carries some risk. So this is a more protected environment, and we're always keeping that in mind. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Amanda, let her do the introduction demo, and then we're happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thanks, Bev. All right. So from our auditor's site, Doclink will be available here under the auditor's office and information. You'll see the Doclink here. And I believe I sent this out in the Teams meeting already, this link here. Below here are the training videos that we created on how to actually use Doclink. And then after the 17th, when we email you guys out your username and passwords and stuff, you'll be able to click here and go directly into Doclink. I'm not going to do that because right now we're entering all of your existing certificates of resources and appropriations. So I will go into our test site that is very similar to our production site. So once you click that, you'll land here on the Doclink page and then you'll sign in. Like I said, you'll be given a username and password. And then once you log in, this is the home page. Up here, we'll have your username and what your role type is. I'm logged in as the administrator. There's a couple things up here. You've got your change password, which we will ask you to do as soon as you log in for the first time, because we're going to give everybody a very generic password. And then you guys can go in and change it to whatever you need that to be. And then down at the bottom here, you can click that and that'll take you right back to our auditor's site. But up here is the menu button. And depending on what role type you are, you'll see more or less of these menu items, but most of them are pretty standard, like my dashboard, my calendar, my resources, recent submissions, and those kinds of items. So what you will mostly do. Your dashboard is going to be very helpful. You guys won't see this budget commission packet one, but you're always going to see your recent submissions, action items, and calendar. We'll first look here at the calendar. And the calendar, let me zoom in just a bit here. The calendar is populated by dates that the auditor's office puts in. So on this one, you'll see important things like when your submissions are due to have your certificates in on time for the budget commission meeting and other items like that that's important for you guys to see. So this one here, it shows that by March 26th at 12 p.m., your submissions are due to have them on the March Budget Commission meeting packet. And we'll populate more and more dates as those become available and important to you guys. And if you want to see a whole list of events, again, this is just the test site, so there's 47 listed there. But you can do a drop down here and see all of these other things that will be populated there. So that's the calendar.
Amanda, can I have
Yeah.
you pause on calendar? I just wanted to
Yep.
add, we have asked our software provider to do an enhancement with calendar. We want to be able to give email reminders when there is a critical date that's coming forward. So that's not available in this first rollout, but it should be coming soon. So I just wanted to let you know, you will get reminders via email. They'll be like 30 days out, 14 days out, 7 days out, 2 days out.
Another helpful resource here is my resources. So there's several different sections here, and to get to those, you just click the little drop down, and this is helpful for anybody. You've got new fiscal officers, outgoing fiscal officers, the budgetary law, handbooks, guidance documents, links to the Ohio Revised Code sections. Here we've got our training videos loaded and other things that we'll be loading. So this will continue to evolve the more that we build up Doclink. But some of these will take you to links that are helpful, and then others are downloadable, like the handbooks and stuff. Those are downloadable. So you just click those and download them. And like I said, this will continue to evolve as we get more and more items to list here. Let's go to certificate submission. So this is the bulk of the solution right now. So anytime you are entering right now, what you guys do is you send us your items for your certificate of resources and your appropriations. You know, we go back and forth with email, and you send us long lists, and then we update it, and then we get it signed and get it back to you. So this is the bulk of that, replacing that email process. So when you have an update to your resources or your appropriations, what you'll do is just come into Doclink, click your certificate submission, and then you will have your tax authority that you're responsible for in the dropdown. You won't have to go through all of these. We'll just click one here for an example. And then you've got your year choices. So there's two types of submission. Like I said, you've got your resource and your appropriation. The first one of the year is always going to be your resource, and it's always going to be auto selected because that one has to come before any of the others. Now later on, after you've already submitted your initial certificate of resources, then you can do both. You can do your resource and appropriation, or you can just choose to do your appropriations. You just select whichever one you want to do. So for this, we'll just go ahead and click only resource, and you'll just click create. And that'll take you right on into the certificate submission screen. Up here at the top, you'll notice this is the taxing district that we selected. This is the correct year that we chose. And then this is the initial resource certificate, and we did not select the appropriation version. And you'll see if you do select the appropriation version, you'll have appropriations over here that you will be able to edit. So this should look pretty similar to what we submit back to you guys now. It's got your general fund, special revenue funds, and all your other funds listed out here. So to add to a fund, you'll just click the plus button under whichever category fund it is, and then you'll select a fund. This one doesn't have any general funds, I guess, so we'll just delete that one. But special revenue, let's see if they've got anything here. Maybe I picked a not great one for a sample.
Yeah,
They don't do their
because it's a school,
certificate.
I would pick that one. So let's pick a different one of all of them. How did I do that? Let's pick this one. Okay, so this one's already, okay. All right. Restart. General fund. It'll populate in the drop down, and then you'll go through and you'll enter your ending cash balance, advances, carryover encumbrances, and so on. There are little tool tips here to help explain what exactly we're looking for you to enter. For example, this one's the cash balance at the end of the budget year of 12/31/24. So you just hover over those if you have any questions there. And then you can go right on in and enter your information. We'll just do some samples here. And then, for example, if you go over, if any fund is exceeding, here on the warning side, you'll see this little note that says exceeding funds. So you can go back and make any corrections before you actually submit it to us instead of emailing it to us reviewing it, sending it back, asking for an update, and those kinds of things. So you'll just go through and add all of your funds. See, this one's actually populated with data because we do the certificate for this one. And for example, if you accidentally select the same fund twice and you don't want it on there, you can go and click the trash can to remove a row. Now, there is a little bug here. If you have any amount of money in the row, you cannot delete it. So first, if you want to delete it, just go back and zero it out, and then you can delete it. So once you enter all of your funds, you can click here to add supporting documentation, and that's where you can update like your rates of resolution, any of your board meeting minutes, any of those things that you would typically email us for backup documentation. Now, to note, you only can update PDFs only here. So you would just go in there, select your PDF or PDFs. You only can do one at a time, but you would select it, open it, and then it'll add it there. If there is a fund missing from your dropdown that you don't see here, you can add a new fund. You just click the Add New Fund button. You'll add your fund, which type of fund it is. Let's say it's the general fund. You select your tax authority. Where am I? Clear Creek Township.
Wonder why that's not sorting alphabetically. It did before.
I
Weird.
don't know, because I even clicked the C. There we go. And then you'll just hit Add Fund. And then from the drop down, it will be there. Where did it? Oh, I put it in the general. It's like when somebody's standing right behind you and you can't find the button that's right in front of your face. So there's the fund that we added, and then you can populate your data accordingly. And then if at any point you can click preview resource. So now this goes back again, because we're only creating the resource certificate right now, you'll see preview resource. If we were only creating the appropriation side, you would see preview appropriations. If you're doing the dual application or certificate, sorry, you'll see both. So we'll preview it here, and then you can see a list of all your funds. There's 2 pages. It is unofficial right now because you haven't submitted it to us and we haven't accepted it and signed it yet.
Amanda, can you pause?
Amanda?
Pause for a second. I think Julie's got a question.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, I have a question. Is there going to be any kind of uploadable where we can upload like an Excel to dump into that, or from year to year, can we pull over? Because a lot of times we have most of the same funds. I'm just thinking about Lancaster City Schools. I mean, we have a lot that we would have to drop down and add.
Julie, I'll answer that question for you. So we have asked our vendor to look at providing us with an import functionality. I can tell you though, we are preloading all of the funds and your data for you now. And when you go to do a 2026 budget, all of the prior information, all those funds will still be there. It's
Okay,
going to
thank you.
carry forward. Now, what's not going to carry forward are balances and things of that nature.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but we are asking for them to see if we can do an import functionality. I know not everybody uses the same software solutions. You know, we're dealing with villages, townships, schools, political subdivisions. So not everybody uses the same type of solution to get their data from, and it would be the mapping of that. We're trying to look to see if we can create some kind of a import file where you can populate that import file and then send it over.
Thank you. I think that'd be very helpful.
I do too. We've got some pretty big certificates. You talk City of Lancaster, Pickerington City, you know, the large ones. The county, we have to do one for Fairfield County, and we've got, I don't know, 300 funds for Fairfield County that we have to populate. Okay, thank you, Amanda.
Yep. So again, that was just the preview. You can just close that. And then once you have everything entered and you're ready to submit it, you'll click Submit to Reviewer, and then that'll send it over to us and we'll review it. If there was accidentally like an exceeding fund or something just doesn't look right and we need you to correct it, we'll return it back to you. We'll follow up with an email explaining specifically what we need you to correct. And then you'll submit it. And then eventually, once everything looks good, we'll get it on the budget commission packet in order for the budget commission meeting.
I will also add, with this reject that the auditor's office may do, today in our go live, when we go live, hopefully next week, we do not have the ability to add a comment of why we're returning through the Doclink solution. So in the interim, we'll send a follow-up email, but in a future enhancement, which should be coming soon, we'll be able to add those comments right on the certificate so you can see everything right through Doclink, and we don't have to do the email communication follow-up.
Before I move on here, I did want to point out that since we are doing the resource version or the resource certificate and not the appropriations, you'll see the appropriation budget is over here, but we can't enter anything into that. So if you want to do that, you can create either one. Let me go back to Clear Creek Township. Let's just do both for right now. If you select both the resource and the appropriation side, now you can see that you can enter funds into the appropriation budget. And then there's where I was saying that you can resource the preview the resource and the appropriation budget. So if we enter some stuff in here, you can click preview resource and see just the resource certificate. And then you can also click preview appropriation to see just the appropriation certificate. And then that'll work the same way if you only do the appropriation certificate, you'll only be able to edit the appropriations. So let me go to the recent
Amanda,
submissions. Yeah.
can you just show them that they can collapse those category columns?
Oh, yep. Let me go back in there.
That's helpful to kind of expand the data on the screen. So if you've got somebody just focusing on appropriations, you can hide all the other stuff. And then you can enter that data a little more easily. Just pull up the one in draft there for Walnut.
Okay.
It should be just to show the data.
Yep. So up here, like she was saying, you can collapse them. You can just click those little carrots. So we collapse the prior year there. Resources, collapse down the appropriations, just so you can focus on the data that you want to see. And then once you submit it to reviewer, you can go to your recent submissions to see anything that you have recently submitted. So here we've done a lot of testing with the Walnut Township Local School District, and here you can also see your different statuses. So because this one we hadn't submitted yet, that one's in the draft. If one goes all the way through the Budget Commission approval process, once it's approved, it'll be approved by the Budget Commission. If there's any errors that we need corrected, it'll be labeled return to submitter. And then approved means that the auditor's office has approved it. And that's where that status is. And at any point, you'll be able to view any of them that are here. So this one would have been signed. Like I said, I'm in the test environment, but then you'll see your entire list of your certificate and all the data. So this is one that's got a lot listed there. So I'd imagine that'd be closer to how Lancaster looks there. So that's the recent submissions. Here you'll notice your version. So this one has the resource certificate initial. So that is that first initial one submitted through the year. Resource version 2, that's an amended resource certificate. If it just says initial, not resource initial, that is the appropriation certificate. So that way you can tell easily at a glance which one is in whatever status you're looking at, and you can view that.
And I've asked our vendor to add appropriation in front of just the one that says initial, so it's very clear to the reader.
So going to user management, this is where you will be able to add users. Both of you will probably, yeah, they're both administrators, right, Bev?
Yeah.
So you guys will be able to go in and add users if you want anybody else to be able to submit certificates. You'll just click add user here. You'll select your tax authority. The roles, again, we said you guys will be admins, most likely. You can add another admin if you want that would have the exact same roles that you have. A lot of users will probably just choose the tax authority user. They won't be able to create users, but they would be able to create, submit certificates on your behalf. And then username, there's no real guidance here, but we are just saying like, something simple, like the first initial, last name, just for the username, and then you'd input their name, whatever position they are. And you'll want to create just a generic password for them, and then follow up with them, either call them or email them, let them know that their user account has been created and they can log in with their username and whatever password you granted to them. And then once they first log in, then they'll go in and change their password themselves. Use their email address where they would want certificate information sent back and forth, like if they need to make a correction or any of that kind of contact. The phone number that we can contact them in. Secondary phone number is not required, but primary contact method, you have phone and email available. The system is not going to send any notifications via phone, so just go ahead and select email here for now, and then you would save them. And like I said, just follow up and let them know what their username and password is, and then they'll be able to log right in and submit certificates, view anything, anything like that.
So I'll also add to that, Julie, for your purposes too, the read-only tax authority read-only role type. You could use that if you had an auditor come in and they wanted to see your documentation, or if you wanted to share what was submitted to the Budget Commission, it will be a resource available to you to do.
I'm sure our auditors will take advantage of that.
I'm sure they will too.
Because they just grab the folder from us and flip through, but they've been working from home, so instead of scanning it, they can go out there.
Yep. So hopefully that'll save you some time on your end. Or if any of you want, like if you're with a township and you want your trustees to have access, you could do read only. tax authority read-only. So just wanted to give you that awareness that we're trying to put some control at your level. And then this user list that shows will be only for your tax authority. You won't see everybody else that's created in the system. Amanda's logged in as the administrator, so we see everything.
Which means you won't be able to create a certificate for a taxing district that we don't create certificates for, like I can. All right. Bev, is there anything else here that I should go over?
I don't think so. I will tell you a couple of the enhancements that we're coming in our future releases. So the menu on the left-hand side with a little hamburger waffle thing, we're going to add a section there called My Documents. And what that will include is any of our settlement distribution documents that our office currently emails to you. You'll be able to self-consume those there. We'll put a calendar reminder out, say the documents will be available on this date, and you'll be able to go and retrieve those documents for your tax authority. We'll also do our local government distributions. We'll upload all of those monthly or quarterly, whatever the frequency of pay is. And then we are going to add under My Resources, which is already there, a resource tool. We're going to add some templates. We're going to have resolution templates that are going to be PDF fillable. So if somebody needs to go out, pull a template down, that's going to be available too. And I think that is the bulk of this first enhancement release that'll be coming out here in a few weeks. It's our goal to have this available to you next week in order to submit anything to the Budget Commission for the March 31st, I think, is the meeting date. We're trying hard. We are trying to get everything pre-populated, so when you come in, everything is ready to go. What we will ask is in our email, when we send out your username and password, we're going to ask you to view everything that we've pre-populated and give us an opportunity to correct that for you for those certificates that have already been through the Budget Commission and signed. That's all I had, Amanda.
All right. Any questions?
None from me.
I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for attending, and it's a good discussion.
Yeah. Julie, you be safe driving.
I am. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, if that's it, Amanda, thank you, all of you, for your information. I'm glad that I've been doing this. I'm starting my 6th year, and I wish it would have been here from year 1 because, I went back and forth a lot, coming to Lancaster, bringing stuff. It just, this seems so much easier in this technology age. It seems like it should have been here a long time ago, but, I'm glad it's here.
Thanks for that feedback, Rick. We appreciate that. We're really trying to keep our stakeholders in mind as we look for opportunities within our office. And, we get data from every tax authority in a different manner. So we're having to look at data differently for every single certificate we create. And this is going to help standardize that so the Budget Commission doesn't have as many questions. We go back and forth with the Secretary of the Budget Commission very frequently as we're gathering this stuff in and all the supporting documentation. So we're hoping to standardize that as much as we can to make it easier.
Yeah, I took over right when COVID hit, and 19 is when I was elected. And, I took some stuff down and gave it to Josh, and he said, well, why didn't you do it this other way? I said, I didn't know there was another way. And he said, well, if you do it this other way, it's better for us. Well, okay, well, no one ever told me anything. So
Right.
you're lucky you're getting it this way.
Well, we appreciate all of our partners, and if there's anything that you can think of that will make the solution more useful for you, we're asking folks in a survey to give your feedback because we want to include those things in a future release.
I'll do it. But like I said, this is a good start, and I appreciate all your guys' time and energy trying to make it easier for all of us.
We appreciate that.
That's right.
Okay. All righty.
You guys have a good evening and be safe.
Good to see a face with a name there too. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Have a good
Thank
evening.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.